Hi friends, this is Lisa here over at Soulful Spinning. I'm just in my laundry room slash fiber prep area, and I'm doing some combing up a little bit of this pretty brown fleece that I bought some time ago, and I thought I would just chat with you for just a couple of minutes. I did manage a sit down just a little while ago, sharing with you my knitting projects. And yeah, I've been, if you're new to the channel, I spin, I knit, and I love preparing fleece and spinning yarn right off the animal. The problem is I've got way too much fleece. So it's kind of a cautionary tale here at the beginning. If you're just getting into the hobby, just know that the sheep are always going to be growing more wool, and that there'll always be more beautiful fleece for you to procure. So when I started, I kind of, like a lot of people do, I got really excited and I wanted to try every single breed imaginable. And so now I've got more fleece, whoopsie, than I know what to do with. So I'm using these combs I bought from its seller on Etsy a while ago, in 2014. These are from Benjamin Green. He doesn't make this particular set anymore. They're not available, but it's they're not for super fine fibers. Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm using this really nice station to lash my fiber on, and then I'm using this comb it's a Viking comb I got from the Woolery, I think, and I'm using this as my for my first pass here. So yeah, I've been tossing all my fleece. I've been taking them out into the backyard, laying them out. We've got a table out there, and just kind of doing an assessment to see what I have, and it's a lot. So a lot more than I can probably process and spin and knit or weave with for probably the rest of my life. So I'm just doing a kind of a rough combing here. This is a long wool cross. I think it's she described it as a Romney cross with either Montadale or Columbia, I think. So it's got a lot of nice characteristics. It's here's the lock here. It's pretty long. It's got a lot of loft to it. Got some veg, but easy to pick out. And you know, on the coarser side of things, kind of reminds me of a Coopworth, or it's a typical long wool, but it's got a little bit more, as you can see, more bulk than some wools do. So this is one of the fleeces that I had that still needs some scouring. I've got some raw fleece here in my pile. And it's one that I'm going to hang on to. There is some veg matter in here. So what I'm doing with the waist, when you comb wool, you have sometimes shorter fibers that are left on the back of the combs. You can usually card this up and spin it up, but some of this I'm saving for filling. I'm just taking out and I've got a huge bag of this actually here. I got a huge bag of just random waste that I've accumulated over the years, really. And what I'm going to do with this is I am either going to cart it into bats, or I might stuff it into like an emotional support chicken, or kind of some sort of stuffy. I hope you enjoy this episode of Soulful Spinning. So please do let me know how you're doing in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. What have you been working on? What have you been using? What have you been doing to keep you sane and anxiety-free during these tumultuous times that we're living in? All right, I'll see you in just a minute. I hope you guys are doing well. I'll start it with the one that I'm really, really proud of first. So this past summer, I got a chance to have lunch with some of my old colleagues from my high school that I used to work with. And I ran into one of my dearer friends there. I used to call him my work son because he was right across the hall from me, and he's just a lovely guy, wonderful workmate, and just a great guy. And he's totally knit-worthy. Some years ago, I made him a pair of mittens. If I could think I can find the picture here. I made him a pair of mittens. They were bear mittens for the Bears, the Chicago Bears. That's the area I'm in. And so I got home and I thought, I'm going to make his boys a gift. He's had 2 little boys within the last 3 years. He's got a little toddler. And so for toddler C, I made this. Isn't this cute? This is a little hat. I'll show it to you close. It's got 3 colors. The blue is DK Vintage Baby by Barocco. So is the white and the gray. And then the orange is Quince and Company. I think it's Chickadee. Yeah, Chickadee, which is their sport weight. And it's perfect orange. I think the orange is called nasturtium. So I made this little hat, and then I made these mittens to go with the hat for the little boy. Isn't that cute? So I made this out of a vintage pattern book that I picked up on eBay. So this is Scandinavian Snow Sets, it's a copy. And so I made these. These are the mitts right there in the corner. And then there is the hat. So it was so fun to make. It was a little bit fiddly in parts because there's a couple of rows where you use 3 colors, and especially on the thumb, using the 3 colors on the thumb. But I think they turned out really cute. Nice long cuff, so they can fold it over as he's little, and then as he grows, you can open it up. So I still thought he also went to University of Illinois, which also has the same color scheme as the Chicago Bears. So I made this a little hat set. So I wanted to pop in here and show it off because I need to get it to him. I think it's the 10th of October today, and we are starting to get some cooler weather. So I thought I better get this in the mail over to my friend. And then for his little baby, he had a little baby in the spring, baby N. I made this little hat here. I put pom-poms on the corners. This is the Good Sport hat pattern. It's a pay-for pattern on Ravelry. It's got a really cute slip stitch detail along the sides and here. And then it's massive Kitchener close at the top, which really made it nice and seamless here. A very well written pattern. So I thought this was super cute. Well, I couldn't make the baby a hat and not make a pair of mitts too. So I made him these little mitts. Now these don't have any thumbs because he's just a wee baby. So it's got this star pattern. It's like kind of a Norwegian star here. And then on the back. It's just like so. So this was a free pattern on Ravelry. I can't remember the name of the pattern, but everything I talk about, all my patterns that I talk about, will be linked in the description below. So yeah, so those are going to go to my my friend, my old work colleague. I hope that they fit the boys, and I hope they get a lot of use out of them and they don't get lost. So what am I wearing today? I am actually wearing a finished object. Now I'm wearing this kind of goofy t-shirt. I've had this t-shirt for like 20 years. It says Love Bug. When my son was born, actually it's more than 20 years because he's 21. When he was born, as soon as he was born, I had a look at him and I called him a love bug. So this is a shirt, I can't let go of it because it's got sentimental attachment. But I made this sweater. This is the Maple Cardigan by Isabel Kramer. It's made out of Durarum Natura Ulisse. It's a woolen spun merino yarn. It's so velvety, soft. It's an open front cardigan, so it's not meant to be closed or buttoned up or anything. So, and in the pictures, she does kind of wear it open like this, but in retrospect, I might have made this next size bigger, but it's actually perfect for this weather we're having. It's a little chilly in the house, and it's just kind of nice. It's just right on my shoulders. It's a fingering weight sweater, and I love knitting because I can make the sleeves as long as I want. Here's the yarn here. I have 3 more balls of this. I thought I was going to run out, and I ordered some more, and now I don't need it. So I think I'm going to make a beret. I think Sari Norland has a really cute beret pattern. I'm going to make a hat to match my sweater. So those are 2 of my finished objects. I've got one woven piece that I wanted to show off today. This has been off the loom for a while. I'm a rigid heddle weaver. I don't weave with a shaft loom, but it's a rigid heddle loom. And I got this I had it off the loom for a while, but it wasn't finished. I needed to twist the fringe, which I used a twister from Shacked, I think. And then it needed to be washed and blocked. So this is, what did I make this out of, if I can recall? This is made out of a sock yarn warp, as you can see, and a lace weight weft. And I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, though it does have quite a lot of errors. So I know you shouldn't show off your mistakes, right? But it had some skipped weft. So weft is the yarn that goes side to side. So I had to do a little bit of repair. I'll show you as an example here. I just kind of went over it and sewed it down. I have more of those than I care to admit. I was actually thinking that I could maybe embroider over the little mistakes, you know, a la, you know, the mending kind of philosophy. But I think that once you're wearing it, it's not going to matter. So, yeah, I've been really thinking about things that are close to being finished that just need a few things to kind of clear out my WIPs. I'd like to do it before the year's end. I have a lot of WIPs, works in progress. What else have I been working on? Well, I've been working on a Handspun sock project. For the Tour de Fleece this year, Tour de Fleece is a great big, make sure I'm in the frame still. Tour de Fleece is a great big spin-along that occurs during the Tour de France every year. And I had some grand plans of getting a lot of spinning done. I did finish one spin though, which I'm pretty proud of. It's the sock spin, and that's sitting in this little basket with with my little black sheep. I picked him up. I picked up this little black sheep before I was married, before I had any children. I bought it at FAO Schwartz, which used to be a toy shop in Chicago. I was there with a friend, and he's a little black sheep. So it was like before I was a knitter and in love with wool, I bought this little black sheep, and I've hung on to him over the years. I think he's like super cute. So here is my, if you watched the last episode, you saw this fiber. And I think I have some B-roll of me spinning this. I spun it into a 3-ply on my little gem, a short backward. I think Rachel from Wool and Spinning calls it continuous backward draw. And I got a lot of yarn. It was actually almost 9 ounces of yarn. So I'm going to have plenty for this pair of socks, and I could probably make 2 pairs of socks out of this, really, to be honest. So here is, let me get the sock blocker here. I've got 2 socks that I'm knitting. One of them I'm knitting on magic loop, and the other one. So here is one of the socks. I'm using the Church Mouse Yarns pattern, cast it on 48 stitches on a 2.75 millimeter needle, which I think is one of those in-between US sizes. It might be like a US 2.5. So I've got this one. I did a 1x1, 2x2 rib for the cuff, and I'm on my foot here. And then the second one, I'm knitting on a pair of some double points. So yeah, they're self-striping, which I was kind of happy that they turned out that they're self-striping. I didn't know what was going to happen. I basically took it was a gigantic braid of fiber from Blue Moon Fiber Arts, and I split it 3 ways, and then I took each of the 3 and I split those 3. So I got 6 bobbins all together, and then I mixed them up and plied them together to get my yarn. So actually I think they're gonna, look at how little it looks when it's not on the blocker. So my husband's outside cutting the lawn. I hope you can't hear that. All right, so yeah, so I'm pretty chuffed that I'm working with my hand spun, and as you can see, I'm almost done with this sock. I've got all the hard parts done. I've got the gusset and all that, and I'm on the foot, and all I have to do is just finish it up and close the toe. So I just took a little break, and I went upstairs to go do a little bit of spinning, because I'm spinning some yarn for a project I'm working on. And my Lendrum, there's foot connectors that attach the treadles. I've got a Lendrum double treadle wheel, and it's quite old. I mean, I think I purchased the wheel used maybe in 2011, 2012, and it broke. I just broke my wheel, but not really. I just have to order some new connectors. It's kind of funny because I just broke the drive band the other day, and I was going to place an order for a new drive band. I had one in backup, but I thought, well, I'll just have an extra one. And I was going to order some Footman connectors, and I didn't. Well, anyway, I didn't order any. Now I really do need the Footman connectors. So yes, what am I working on spinning-wise? Well, I almost fell down the rabbit hole of the Stephen West MKAL 2024, which is like Go-Go Dynamo or something. And I was last year I did not finish my project. I can't remember what it was called last year. It was not Twists and Turns. Twists and Turns was the one year before. It was so traumatic, I just put it out of my head. So yeah, I think it's upstairs, unfinished, and I thought, no, do not buy the pattern, do not participate this year, because you didn't finish last year's. So I thought, well, I'll wait, I'll pick out some yarn, and I'll do a swatch, and I'll wait till the first clue comes out, and then decide if I want to participate or not. So this is the yarn that I picked out. This is BFL fingering weight yarn, It's from A Hazy Shade of Blue by Blue Moon Fiber Arts. I actually have 3 hanks of this. I picked this up at the Fold in Marengo. It's closed now. It's a beautiful yarn and weaving store. I think she had like a Memorial Day sale, and a friend and I went up there. And so I took this out of stash, and I wound some up, and I did a little swatch here. And the white here is some Handspun. This white is Shetland, mohair, kid mohair, and sparkle yarn. And I've got this ball, and then I've got some more fiber upstairs, which is what I was spinning on my Lendrum. Now I have to get a new footman, but I have plenty to, let me backtrack here. So I watched the first clue, and I'm glad I didn't sign up, because as fun as it looks, as lovely as to be part of the community and everything, I'm really not a fan of these the beginnings of his shawls that are real modular. For this one, you had to make a start of a shawl. And I thought, I was watching, I'm like, it's the start of a regular shawl. It's like a circular shawl. He goes, okay, now make 3 of these. Like, what? And now put some of them on hold and connect them. And you always learn so much when you participate in those make-alongs. But I don't like that you have to cut your yarn, because with last year's, you had this big central square, and then you had to keep cutting your yarn. So if you decide to frog, you have all these little bits and bobs of yarn, and and what are you going to do? Like, I guess you can make pom-poms or weave or something, but I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that type of construction, kind of like a modular monstrosity of different stitches. That's a very unpopular opinion, because actually when I saw Amy Palko's version on Instagram, oh my God, she has the way of picking colors. And I'm like, she picks the best colors for those shawls, and they turn out spectacular. Anywho, I thought, well, I still want to knit with this yarn. So I decided to make a shawl that's been on my list for a long time to make. It's called the Mar. I think it's Mar or Mare shawl by Moonstruck Knits. The designer is Natasha Hornby, and I'll put a picture in here. It's this long, almost scarf-like shawl that has lots of interesting patterns in it and techniques that I haven't done before. So I thought I would make my own little, like, mystery shawl. I mean, I know what's coming, but I would break up her pattern into manageable pieces. So the beginning of the Mare shawl or Mar shawl is this broken rib section. See, I know, of course, I'm in the middle. Well, I'm always going to be in the middle of the row here for this central section, because it uses a series of short rows. It uses German short rows. And to do the central panel. And so the rows are getting shorter and shorter. You can see that it's being shaped into this crescent using these turns. She uses German short rows turns. So the markers here that I've placed on the ends is right where the last short row was made, because you have to go like one before and then turn again. So I'm halfway through. You've got to do this 18 times. But of course the rows are getting shorter. So it's really an interesting, I got a theme here today, an interesting idea for the construction. And then I thought this white is going to make, there's these beautiful flowers, these like raised flower patterned in the shawl. And I thought this white fuzzy yarn, which is a tiny bit thicker in places than this, I think it's going to work really, really well. So today's Thursday the 10th. I was hoping to get the central panel done so I could start the next stitch pattern. So to see if I could finish a shawl in a month, kind of going along in the MKAL spirit, but not actually participating in the MKAL. So yeah, Natasha Hornby has some beautiful patterns. The Lune shawl is really stunning. And then, of course, the Artus, A-R-T-U-S shawl has been made by many, many people. And she writes a beautiful pattern. The pattern is just from the typeface to the instructions, everything is just perfectly easily understood. Highly recommend her pattern, and I can't wait to have this big, beautiful scarf. So that's a new project. And then this, you guys are going to laugh. I think you'll be able to relate to this. I was a new knitter in about 2010. I started knitting later in life. And I decided I wanted to make like a hat blanket. So I picked out this pattern. It's called the Tweed Baby Blanket by Brooklyn Tweed. I picked up the yarn, these 3 colors. We've got the gray, red, and this green. And this is the very first lot of Quince & Co. Owl. It was a new yarn that Quince was coming out with at the time, and they had limited colors. So I picked up enough of these 3 colors to make this blanket. This blanket has been stuffed in a basket for over 10 years. I bought the pattern in 2011. So at that time I was casting on fairly shortly after I purchased the pattern. So yeah, 2011, you do the math, right? I was well into the lace section here, the feather and fan, and I think I was like, I was right before this red, I think I was in this gray here. And I remember distinctly getting tripped up with feather and fan because I didn't realize that one of the techniques you could use is to put stitch markers between every 18 stitch repeats to make it easier to follow. And I remember getting frustrated and not really knowing where I went wrong. I didn't read my knitting very well at the time, so I just put it aside. So now, older and more experienced Lisa picked it up, realized I'd done an extra yarn over, placed markers at every 18 rows, and I'm going to finish this. So I've actually am on the very last row before a monstrous I-cord bind off. So I got a lot of other projects that have been on the needles for many, many months and even years that I'm going to I think I'm just going to, I'm going to rip them all back and retrieve the yarn. And so one of my goals is before the end of the year, get everything off the needles and make an assessment of what I want to finish and what is not reasonable or what I'm not going to finish. So yeah, isn't that funny? I know you, 2011, I mean 2011, what the heck? I wanted to mention a new podcast that I found. It really just came up. I think YouTube just recommended it out of the blue, and it's the name of the podcast is. It's a play on the song "Beauty and the Beast," and it's called "Spinning Duty and the Knits," and it's a fellow named Robert, and I think he's living in London, and all he knits with is his own hand spun, prepared from raw fleece. And naturally dyed from things that he finds, that he forages and orders. So everything he makes is from hand spun. And he pulled out a finished Botanic Shawl. So Botanic Shawl is a pattern by Stephen West. And his was just beautiful. Here's the pattern. There's the pattern. It's got like a slip stitch pattern. And longtime viewers will know that I had cast this on. So I was watching his podcast. I thought, well, I should pull out my Botanic Shawl and finish it. And here it is. This is made out of all hand spun. That's huge. It calls for a fingering weight yarn, and my yarn is definitely sport to decay in places. All the colors here are naturally dyed. That's what sort of got me motivated to pull this out. Not naturally dyed by me, but by the good sisters over at Inglenook Fibers. So years ago they had done I think it was based on the Beatrix Potter theme. And I bought some bats. Here are some of the colors here. I might have some photos in my, here are some of the colors. These were all spindle spun on Turkish spindles. And these are quite thick, actually. And then the white is from a Romney lamb's fleece that I combed and spun up into a 2-ply. You can see, or maybe you can't, you can see that some of it's quite, fingering weight-ish, and some of it's thicker. But the thing about handspun is once you start knitting with it, it all evens out in the fabric, pretty much. So I'm going to finish this. So I know, Robert, you don't watch my channel, but you're inspiring me to finish this. His turned out just beautiful. And mine's almost done. And actually, I don't even think I need to do the 18. You're supposed to have 18 slip stitch sections at the end. Because my gauge is so much bigger, I'm going to put this on here. That's the back. That's the reverse side, which actually I think looks pretty. And then this is the front. I should finish it, right? Yes, I'm going to finish this. I was worried that I wouldn't have enough yarn to finish, and so I pulled out of my stash some other hand spun. There's quite a long wide border. I picked out this for my hand spun. This is some yarn that I made from, I took top. I think I took Blueface Leicester top and sparkle and some natural fleece, and I used my hackle and I made some comb nests, and I spun this up into a 2-ply. And even though, I don't know, it's not naturally dyed like everything is here, I thought the colors were pretty darn close. So that if I need to, I can use this for the border. So yeah, this is definitely going to get finished. All right, I just wanted to finish up today by sharing a little gift that I got from one of my viewers who's now become a pen pal of mine. I've got a couple of pen pals now. I kind of went down another rabbit hole of stationery and fountain pens, which I don't think is that uncommon amongst spinners and knitters. But I just wanted to show off these two little products. I've used a lot of it up quite a bit. This one right here is goat milk lotion bar, and it's makershouseHomestead.com, and it's a beeswax and goat milk, one of these lotion bars. It had a little bee there, and you hold it in your hands like that for a few seconds. And you rub it in your hands. It's beautiful. Oh, it smells really, really good. I'll leave a link below. Beeswax, coconut oil, shea butter, avocado oil, almond oil, goat's milk, and essential oils. And then she also sent me this, which is a salve. It's a comb-free salve. So yeah, thank you so much for, you know who you are. I won't mention you, won't mention your name, but I do thank you so much for this little gift. They've been right by my knitting nook, and I've been using it quite a bit. So yeah, so what else have we been doing this fall? My husband and I have been taking a lot of long walks. It's just a perfect time of year here in the Midwest. We took a little trip over to, let me see if I'm in the camera frame, yeah. We took a little trip up to Michigan about a month ago, and I stopped by this little shop in South Haven and got this little bag here. It's by Cavallini, and in here I have some of my pens. So So the gateway drug to fountain pens is the Lamy Safari, which is what I have here. So yeah, I've been enjoying writing my morning pages. Every morning I write 3 pages. And yeah, I've been really enjoying receiving letters and writing letters. So how about you? Do you have a pen pal? Do you like to write letters? I wish my handwriting was better. I am working on improving it, but at my age, as long as it's legible, right? So speaking of stationery, non-knitting related, I did receive an order from Hobonichi a while back. So this year I've been using the Hobonichi Techo. I get the sizes mixed up. It's the A6 size, which is real small. And it's a bit small for my daily. I kind of put a little daily to-do list, or sometimes retroactively I'll go in there and write down what it is that I did for that day. So for this year I got the Hobonichi Hon, which is just like the Techo, but it's just bigger. So I got that for my journaling, and then I also, oh, by the way, I got a couple of these free pens. They're like 4-color pens, and then I also got the Weeks, the Hobonichi Weeks, and what I'm going to use this one for is for my podcast and vlogging schedule and media consumption, books, movies, TV shows, etc. So that's my idea so far. So yeah, I've got this little very simple case, and this is nice to also carry around with you because it's much smaller. Yeah, I got a couple of other little goodies in the bag. I got this little notebook, just a little free notebook, graph paper. And then I bought this also. I'm a sucker for notebooks. It's got a beautiful botanical cover. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about 2025. Let's see, is there anything else? Oh yeah, I'll end with a funny story. So while I was filming earlier today, my husband was outside cutting the lawn. And he came in, we had some lunch, and he says to me, he goes, oh my gosh, I thought I ran over a baby bunny. And I said, oh no, because we do have a lot of bunnies in our neighborhood. And he had run over this. So this is a little piece of fluff of fleece. I've been fleece tossing. I've got too much fleece. So I've been taking all my fleeces outside. They're all pretty much clean. I've been taking them out, laying them out on the table and looking at them. Some of them need rescouring. Some of them just deciding what to do because I have way, way too much. And it gets to a point where you have so much that it becomes a burden instead of a joy. But I thought that was so funny because this really does look exactly the same color as a baby bunny. So yeah, I have been doing a lot of spindle spinning and sampling, as you can see by what's in front of me here. But I will save that for another day. So yeah, I hope this finds you well. I hope you're hanging in there this season. And I thank you for spending time with me. And hopefully I'll be back with you sooner rather than later because I have a lot more going on here at Soulful Spinning headquarters here. All right, friends, that's all for now. Take care, and we'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now. spinning thick singles is it fills up the spindle really, really fast. You have to kind of keep an eye on the bottom, make sure it doesn't backspin too much that you're going to lose your twist. She's doing okay. The sun's in your eyes, though. So this is the soapy water here, and that's some cold water there. So I'm just going to soak it for about 10 minutes. And then I'm going to put it in cold, and then hot, and then cold, and then hot, and then cold. Kind of go back and forth 2 or 3 times. And yeah, see how it turns out. We'll let it dry while we take our walk.
Thankful for the way the sun rises in the morning. I'm thankful for yellow, red, and blue. I'm thankful that the tides don't forget to return. But most of all, I'm thankful for thankful that the lightning never strikes twice in the garden. I'm thankful for the silent midnight dew. I'm thankful for the quiet thoughts that visit when the moon shines. But most of all, I'm thankful for to make my heart glad. So many reasons to sing, but I'm thankful for every moment.
So there's your,
and you're in
there's your heart. So I've now closed the two bumps of the heart with mattress stitch, and now I'm just going to stuff it and then knit all the way down to finish my little spindle heart.
My son reaches for my fingers. I'm thankful for my daughter's smile too. I'm thankful for the time that brought us all together. But most of all, I'm thankful for you. So much to make my heart glad. So many reasons to sing. But I'm thankful for every moment